The original mine, located in Butte, Montana, derives its name from being one of the first primitive mining sites on the Butte Hill. From modest beginnings, where shallow pits were excavated with elk horns, it came to be one of many large mines that occupied what was once called the richest hill on Earth. Its headframe, from surface to the top of the structure, is 127 feet tall and still stands today. The model is an N-gauge replica and may be the only one of its kind. I suppose you could say it's the original replica mine model. Imagine you got your first real job at a Butte mine and it is your very first day. You find yourself at the collar of a deep vertical shaft awaiting your turn to be transported underground, where a day of hot work awaits. Oh yes, it's hot underground. So hot, you'll find yourself pouring water out of your boots and wringing out your shirt in unbelief that a human could sweat that profusely. As you get closer to your turn, some veteran miners notice that you're a greenhorn and begin to tease you by telling stories of wrecks in the shaft during transport.
Just be glad there's doors now on the cage, lad. If there had been doors in 91 at the Anaconda mine, those 9 men wouldn't have fallen off the cage and fell 1,000 feet to their deaths.
'Twas a greenhorn like yourself that fainted during the ascent and caused the whole cursed thing.
Finally, it's your turn to board the cage, where you nervously step in with 6 other men and are compressed against the smelly bodies of your co-workers as the doors are forced shut.
This here is the chippy hoist. Her job is to raise and lower men and equipment in and out of the mine. It is separated from the rock hoists over yonder so that ore production can commence without interruption. Do you see the red dial indicator there? That lets the hoist engineer know what level the cages are on and when the cages are surface level. She's not a real one, mind you, just a 3D printed representation. Let's take a look at the action.
Now we're ready to see other parts of the model. This is called a square set stope and is a small representation of the massive stopes that still exist underneath the Butte Hill. Miners drilled and blasted up into the high-grade ore and used gravity to drop the ore into chutes below for loading into cars. As they extracted the ore, they built what is essentially a giant wooden scaffolding as they worked their way upward. For the purposes of demonstration, we'll load the model with copper ore and pick up some loads with the electric locomotives for transport to the shaft. The ore trains dump their loads into storage pockets adjacent to the shaft for loading into haulage buckets called skips. This process is simulated here in the model.
Rock hoist raises and lowers the skips and derives its name from its dedicated purpose of transporting ore to the surface.
The drums are connected and ride on a common shaft with one drum spooled overshot and one spooled undershot. As a result, One skip raises while the other skip lowers, allowing for a counterbalance effect for easier work by the hoist motor. This explains why the sheave wheels spin opposite to one another when the hoist is in operation. The skip contains the ore as it is transported up the shaft to the surface. At the tipple, the skip is dumped and the ore is transferred to the storage bins below. The model is designed to demonstrate the cycle of transporting loads from the stope to the loader, to the haulage train, to the skip, then onto the surface, and so on. When the load is dumped, it flows back into the stopes by traveling through hidden passageways in the model. Ideally, all 3 copper balls arrive at the loader every time, but occasionally they get hung up in these passageways, resulting in only 2 or 1 or rarely none making it through. This can be fixed, but I think it's interesting and has originated a game I like to play with the model, so I decided to leave it as it is. The game is to consider 10 loads as one 8-hour shift and to try to get 10 perfect loads during 10 attempts for a delivery of 30 balls. Let's give it a try. Attempt number 1.
All 3? That's a good lad.
Attempt number 2.
All 3 again. Excellent.
Einige Minuten später.
Well, here are the results. I had 2 load hang-ups and had to invoke the Dyna Thumper twice. Still, 28 out of 30 isn't a bad
Hey,
read.
you! Greenhorn!
Yes?
I'm the foreman of this here mine, and I hear you're making a game out of loading your cars.
Well,
Well, nothing, lad. That 28 out of 30 better become 30 out of 30, and that right fast, or you'll be getting your severance check and a boot to the backside. Get back to work!
yes, sir. I'll see you next time.
Now!